Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm working on a layout for my Scrapping Reflections album. Now I am making an album of my business. I don't really have like a plan for it. It's just making layouts as they come up. So I have this screenshot where Vicki Boutin shared her storyteller collection, and then I shared that I was ordering it for the shop. I actually still have papers, I think. I don't think I have anything else left in the shop, but I do have some papers left in the shop. And she shared it on her stories. So I screenshotted it because I was just like, Vicki Boutin shared my story. So I had that fangirl moment. So I am going to be using Vicki Boutin papers. Go figure. Now, not all of these are from Storyteller. Some of them are. Some of them are from older collections. And I also have these two wooden feathers from my shop. So let's see what I can do. So I know I wanted to fussy cut out a couple of these feathers from this paper. And normally, or I should say how I used to feel was, I can't fussy cut two little feathers out of this paper. What if I need it for an entire background? Like, surprise! You can still make it work. So I just went for it, cut out the two feathers that I wanted. Now I did get two feathers that was close to the edge of the page, guys. I didn't like cut directly out of the center. Although you could have cut directly right out the center if you wanted to use this as a matte background. So you got to figure out what's going to work best for you. For me, having the largest section of paper is what I wanted. So I'm just like roughly fussy cutting these out. I'm not tremendously worried about the lines. I'm not tremendously worried about getting it exactly right because these are just going to be little layering pieces. Now, I am going to layer them with the two wood veneer feathers, and I'm going to have one feather off to the left and one feather off to the right. And I figured what I would do was have them on opposite sides of the photo mat cluster. It does change a little bit from what I kind of had in my head to what the layout actually ends up being. I am going to use this pink on pink polka dot background as my background paper. Look at me, I'm already calling it a background paper. And see, that's where I was going. Like either side of the photo, I'll have feathers on it. That'll be cool. No, that didn't end up. Now, this thickers right here is not from Storyteller. It's from Color Study. And there was such a backlog for Color Study that I still haven't received the papers yet. So that's a pain in the butt. But I do have some of the goodies, and that works for me. So I'm going to pull off this chipboard thicker right here, and obviously it is not a 12 by 12 sticker, so I am going to have to make a decision of where I'm going to cut it. Now, as you can tell, I thought that this layout was going to be not horizontally, it ends up being horizontally based, but I thought it was going to be vertically based. Like, I thought I was going to, you know, have some embellishment up there and then my photo down here, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do to cover up that hole in the chipboard area. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we're doing this. Yep, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And then I get it down there and I'm like, what in the world did you just do? Because this has stopped feeling right. And as you guys know, I am an emotional scrapbooker, and if it feels right, then I'm happy, and if it feels wrong, then I'm not. Now, if you were not an emotional scrapbooker, you might have trouble understanding what I say by feeling right and feeling incorrect. And I don't know how to describe it other than it just doesn't make me happy. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, that just doesn't make me happy. Instead of looking at it going, is this the correct design? You know, am I following this rule of design? It is, does this make me happy? So, I'm sorry guys, my allergies are kicking again. It is, we are going through kind of a mini heat wave right now. It's over 100 degrees, and you would think that that would kind of like kick my allergies out, but no, they are back full force. I decided to use this big ol' chipboard sticker that says all this happiness, and I just was trying to figure out where to have it overlap the photo because I didn't want to cover up Vicki Boutin's face, because she's already taken the selfie where some of her face is not visible. Now I am going to use this cut apart sheet, and I am going to use the butterfly one because, spoiler alert, I will not be using this big huge butterfly ever in any of my layouts. Now I guess I could have saved it for the butterfly garden pictures that I have on this last trip to Walt Disney World that I went to. But honestly, look, there's a bunch of butterflies right there in that chipboard stack, so I feel like I've got plenty of butterflies to do the butterfly garden. Now I am pulling out other older Vicki Boutin collections here, and I go ahead and drop down some of these gold bits. So I have the arrow, I have a couple of stars, and I'm just adding them down because I think they add a little shiny bit of happiness to my page. Now I am kind of going in a diagonal direction for my embellishment, so that is a rule of design. You will notice that if you are an emotional scrapbooker, a lot of the times, the things that make you happy actually do follow rules of design, but sometimes the things that make you happy just don't. So you got to do what makes you happy. So I am pulling out older Vicki Boutin stickers. As you can see, I am a fan of Vicki Boutin products. These sticker sheets are pretty much almost gone, except for the butterflies that are everywhere. If Vicki Boutin collections didn't have butterflies, I would say they would be 100% perfect. But she is a huge, huge fan of butterflies and makes no bones about it. So I pull out these tiny little white stars and pair them up with each gold star that I have on the page, just because I felt like I needed that little extra bit of pop. Now I do decorate this layout with a lot of labels, and I am using them purely as decoration. I am not using them as a place to journal. I am not using them as a place to put information down. They aren't holders for other embellishments, except for a few. Like those labels right there have that heart circle. But they're not, they are the embellishment. The plain old label is the embellishment. And I'm okay with that because I like labels. When I discovered labels, as a decoration for my layouts, we were still living in Maryland, and I think I used every label I could find. It didn't matter. I went looking in the craft stores for labels everywhere, not just in the scrapbooking section. I would go into like regular stores like Target and like go to the stationery section and see if they had labels. I was just into labels. So I do not have a problem just decorating with labels to just decorate with labels. Like that cluster right there. I'm not going to put anything in that cluster. I'm not going to write anything on those labels. It's just going to be something pretty. I do try to bring in some more round elements on my page, just because I thought that it could add some visual interest, but it doesn't work out until I find these big old David Tutera wedding sequence. So I have had a few questions about where I got these. They were purchased in big box craft stores. David Tutera has a wedding like collection stuff, so it's in like the wedding stuff. He used to have a show, a wedding show, but I can't remember what it was. We used to watch it. So now I'm going to add some journaling to the page, and I was seeing which thickness of strip I want it to go with, and 3/8 of an inch was too thick, so I went down to 1/4 of an inch. And I have to tell you guys, so here's a little secret. My husband can't stand when I talk fractions in eighths. drives him insane. So when he asks, like, how much gas do you have in your car? And I tell him I have 3/8 of a tank. He's just like, really? Really? Okay. So what? Like, that's what? Like 15, 30 seconds or something like that? Like, he just, I don't know what it is, but, like, if he had 3/8 of a tank and you asked him how much gas was in his tank, he would probably tell you 1/4 of a tank. Because he doesn't like the eights. Frustrating man. But it's all a big joke about the eighths of a tank of gas in our household. So I just wrote down my journaling. I did use a blue Muji pen to talk about how excited I was to have Vicky Bouton's Storyteller collection for the Scrapping Reflections store. And then I am trying to add in that flare badge again. Like, I'm still trying. It doesn't work. I even thought, you know what? Vicky Bouton loves butterflies. Maybe I should throw a butterfly on this page after all. And then I'm like, nah, girl, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that at all. So I'm like, there is still something missing on this page. Like, I'm not feeling the layout. I feel like there's something missing, and it's very bottom heavy, even though the layout does go, like, the embellishment goes up 3/4 of the page. It still feels very bottom heavy to me. So I just did a strip of that yellow pattern paper in 3/4 of an inch up at the top, and it just totally made the layout for me. So there it is, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching me play with some Vicky Bouton product, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.